And his opponent spawning down to the bottom right. Also for Team Super, it is the Canadian boy, the Ape, Maplez. Now, of course, I am not disparaging him. That is something he calls himself. He actually is the one who came up with Mape the Ape. He's like, you know what? It shows that he's got a good humor to him, and that's important. That's something we like to see. Just a good old-fashioned a little bit of self-deprecating humor. You love to see that.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad that he's got a good humor, that it's all well balanced, that his sanguine humor and his bile and his everything else are in a good spot, because that is how we all know. That's the tenets of modern medicine. It's how we make sure that we're all safe and healthy. So I'm glad Maplez, his humors are all in check, and that's what he's going to need, because while this is a team kill, and while Maplez is the manager, and maybe he knows something about PattyMac we don't, PattyMac is also the heavy favorite. The heavy favorite in this series, and he's going cheeky game one.
He certainly is. This is a real proxy pylon. This is not one of those real fake doors. This is a real door, a real proxy pylon, and it's going to be proxy robo first. Before even building a unit, before starting up Warp Gate, Maplez, I'm not sure if he got eyes on that second gateway, that it was not building a unit here. He definitely saw, though, that there was no Warp Gate right away. And funnily enough, if he'd just gone back across the map, he might have caught the tail end of this. But instead, he will actually go around the map looking for this and is going to miss it as a result. However, he's going Stargate first, so that's going to be great against Proxy Robo.
It really is. Unfortunately, Immortals, they do not exactly shoot up. Neither do Warp Prisms, so you do have to be careful there. Oh, wait. Did he see that?
No, he did not. The probes, the corpse of the probe skittered into the little thing, but of course it loses vision during that time. Ooh, does he see it now, though? No, he doesn't. Oh, my goodness. Now, he should be able to surmise that something is up, but he doesn't actually know what it is just yet. Otherwise, he would probably be building a Void Ray, and I don't know that... Yeah, no, he certainly wouldn't be expanding.
No, I mean, man, expanding in the face of a 3-gate robo is a terrifying thing. But, okay, for now, Warp Gate is not quite done, so PattyMac, even as the Cyber to complete, is not really going to be able to do too much with that one just yet in terms of building stuff. But it looks like, yeah, he's getting ready to elevate four Stalkers into the high ground. It's actually an Oracle first, which is great. It means PattyMac is going to lose a lot of his economy, but on the flip side, it means he's not going to have any defensive utility in this game whatsoever. The Pylon is now dead, and there's a shield battery in the main base anyway, so it doesn't really matter that there's an Oracle. I mean, maybe a Stasis, but that's just about that one. Maplez is supply blocked as well, but so too actually is PattyMac. He's at 39 out of 39, can't warp in the number of Stalkers that he would like. So for now, actually, this push is still terrifying. Oh, that Stasis Trap gets about over 50% of the workers. That is actually really nice for Maplez right now.
Yeah, that's 10 workers that just got caught, and there's that Nexus getting canceled at almost 100%. This is so scary, and this is why it was so important that he actually scouted that Proxy Robo, because now he is really under threat. The force field kind of going to be not enough here. I think we need to see a battery overcharge pop. There it is. And this might allow him to kind of shove this away, but even if he does, he is still a far cry away from holding this.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, well, Maplez, he's going for an Oracle in this game to try to hold. And I understand you might be at the point where it's, okay, there are too many Stalkers for me to really get Void Rays and be happy about it. But the idea of getting a second Oracle to try to knock down your opponent's economy when you're just about to die to a bunch of Stalkers in your base, it feels like Maplez may be trying to skip 2 steps forward, but he does have Immortals on the way now. That is something. And PattyMac, with his income situation, particularly having 10 workers not mining for a while, he has not built any Immortals. This is really just all about the Stalkers. So Oracles, they fly on in, and that's just going to force a recall. 4 workers, 5, make it 6, 7 probes go down. Wait, it's a recall of the entire army, too. So Maplez, he has that pressure release valve. The War Prism's going to be forced back, and now Maplez, yeah, he lost that natural, but life is not as hard for him as it was looking even just a minute ago.
That was the wrong decision. Straight up, that was the wrong decision to recall right there. I understand he doesn't want to push up a ramp into force fields. I understand he sees that the robo is being chrono boosted, that it's about to pop out an immortal, but he was so committed. Now he's down 8 workers. This is a really, really difficult spot to be in. And I mean, Maplez is just going to expand behind us. Where'd the observer go? Oh, somehow it did not get picked off. It's just chilling in the mineral line. And Maplez does not know where it is. He's actually going to send his observer forward. This is a really, really tough situation right now for PattyMac. He's trying to get up into Blink. He's staying on one base. I love Maplez's position right now.
Yeah, maybe Steadfast. Honestly, maybe we're seeing the results of Maplez being here for a week and PattyMac not just yet.
Oh,
right?
Oh, why did we do that? He just sent in the oracles and lost one of them. Now PattyMac is able to move out across the map. That was not the right call right there from Maplez. He could have just kept that oracle and kept the pressure on, and then whenever his opponent moves out, then you put him completely all in. You keep chrono boosting immortals this whole time. He's actually only built the 1 immortal. He might have to cancel this Nexus again.
Oh, and I really do like what PattyMac has done here with just the 2 adepts. It seems small. It seems like, oh, well, it's 2 adepts. You know, what is that really going to do? The army's big. But it forces his opponent out of the natural is really what happens there. So you put a sentry in a Stalker high ground. Force fields peel off a Stalker, of course, but Maplez at least starting to get some commensurate damage. There we go. The Observer will go down. So now it's not like PattyMac has as much vision, and it's taken forever for these adepts to die. So 3 total workers, they're dead. Now a Zealot runs on forward. Force fields are decent again. With a second immortal here, it's something. But Maplez, oh, he pulled the probes for a second. And, I mean, he didn't need to just yet. So that's a little bit of lost mining time. But the star count for PattyMac is starting to get scarier and scarier. Once again, it continues to climb. Blink is, what, 20, 30 seconds from completion. So that's going to be the timing that PattyMac's really looking for. Would not be surprised to see him just try to blink in the main base, circumvent all the stag defense in the natural, and say, hey, look, it doesn't matter. But, oh, Maplez seems to be aware of the idea. Stalkers are here. And then, oh, there we go. Sentry on the high ground, but target it down. You got to target it down. It looks like he's just going to go for War Prism. And then the Sentry, though. Stalkers looking to blink on the high ground. There we go. But Blink is, now it's done. Force Field is actually going to be mostly out of energy, most out of time. So Maplez is going to be able to find his way on the high ground right now. But, oh, there we go. Now we're good, but everything's depowered. But PattyMac forced out.
Yeah, this is definitely, we're seeing a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes from both players here. This is definitely a reflection of, you know, the atmosphere of playing offline. We do see a Blink forward, by the way, taking care of one of those oracles in the main base. Honestly, I don't even think you need to worry too much about harassing at this point. The main base is already nearly half mined out for PattyMac. Maplez really just needs to hold. He's been continuously building probes when he should be focusing on building immortals right now to just survive. He just needs to make sure his opponent isn't expanding. PattyMac is going to expand behind this now, which will validate those probes as long as Maplez can hold. But we've seen some kind of brutal missteps from both players, I feel like.
Yeah, it's funny. We're going with... I like how we saw the first big misstep from Maplez right as I'm talking about how, oh, you know, it's... Maybe this is the fact that he was here a week earlier. He's acclimatized, but there is more to offline events than just, oh, long days and you're tired and jet lag. It also is very much the offline event. Hearing everyone playing their games around you, people watching over your shoulder because this is a festival, the game floor is open. That's difficult things to deal with. Oh, Oracle gets a couple probes and a Sentry. That is, I mean, it will lose its life, but that is going to be nice enough for Maplez right now. He's just forcing his opponent further and further all in. And with 3 immortals here, it's all about repositioning. These Stalkers, even as there are a lot of Stalkers, will not really be able to take a straight up fight. Blink is halfway done for Maplez as well. But he's just looking for an opportunity to try to find his way high ground. But PattyMac's positioning is as if he has something to see up. But there's actually nothing on this side of the map that actually lets him see up onto that high ground.
Yeah, he actually picked off 2 sentries with that oracle, and that's huge because to kind of echo the point you're making right there, he wanted to use hallucinations to jump to the high ground right there, and he wasn't able to do so because of the loss of those sentries. And now we're going to see Maplez having his own Blink finishing up right here. He is just kind of staying on 2 bases at the moment. Oh, Guardian Shield gets popped, and did he pick anything off? No, it doesn't look like it. Looks like PattyMac is just trying to dance around and find an opening somewhere. Maple's going to take a bit of a weird route kind of around the army. This is a situation that I feel like you don't want. I feel like you want to push the army back. You don't want to allow him to base trade. But PattyMac is actually going to be able to slip around Maples and will actually force out a recall right here. Yeah, this is what I was a little bit worried about. But, this is going to be a pincer.
He is. Now Stalkers again on top of one Immortal. It goes down, but look at this. Look at the surround on all these Stalkers. Yeah, you lose 2 Immortals, but so much of the army of PattyMac has fallen down. Now Stalkers on the chase. 1, 2, 3, bop them all down. And yeah, you got Immortals. Great, good job. You got a couple extra Stalkers. Your entire army is now dead. And Maples now can find his way onto the other side of the map, blinking forward once again, getting more and more Stalkers down as the dips in the main base, but they're rather low and they're not singing their shots up perfectly, so they're not going to get much done, but it is just a distraction for PattyMac because Maple's knocking on the front door. That being said, Steadfast, with no Warp Prism, I don't really know how this is actually going to be able to kill his opponent.
Yeah, no, it certainly won't be able to. And Maple's getting caught behind those force fields a little bit, loses a sentry, loses a stalker or 2. He should turn around and kill this 1 sentry. Yeah, this is definitely, we are seeing in live form the impact of offline play right now. Both of them are very clearly not in their element. They're both making small micro mistakes that I've seen enough of these players to know that they don't normally make. So this is a perfect illustration of what makes those players that can perform on LAN so impressive.
That it is. And also, Steadfast, we got to point out this is NA, so any sort of clownery is just because these are 2 NA players. I mean, you can take the NA players out of NA. You can't take the NA out of the players. Now the Stalker's running on and forward, looking for something here. And while we may look at this, it's like, the Blink Biker is nice for both sides. Just look at the army supply flow. It's 51 to 24. PattyMac, he's fighting a losing battle. He's trying to make something happen. He's even targeting his own Nexus here. He says, I've given up. This is not going to work anymore. Probes are going to get pulled. But Maples takes the surprising upset. He takes game 1.
Yeah, and it wasn't any weirdness out of Maples. It was, hyper aggression out of PattyMac that he just did not perform cleanly. And he had a lot of opportunities there right there, but Maples ends up taking it down. That was a messy game number 1 on both sides.
It really was. I do appreciate how PattyMac at the end of that game, like 2 wolves fighting, and there was, I'm done. It's just playing. He rolls over, shows his stomach, attacks his own Nexus, says, this game is over. Now, I don't know, that may have just been a misclick, but he did it multiple times. He did it. He clicked off it, and then he did it again. So
I'm fully confident that was a misclick. That was
fair.
Because he pulled the probes right after. That was 100% a misclick. And if that doesn't show, so it was very clear, at least to me, that there was like a lot of like differences from what we're used to seeing online play from PattyMac. Specifically, I think PattyMac is suffering more from the offline versus online syndrome, I guess call it. But we really, really saw it at the end there, where he looks out of sorts, to say the very, very least. So we'll have to see if he can, kind of take a breath and maybe refocus a little bit and come back stronger for game number 2. Oh, we need to set the players.
Well.
Oh, okay.
Well. All right, it's okay. No, but actually the thing we got to point out, Steadfast, is this is actually PattyMac's first offline event ever.
Is it not Maples as well, though?
I probably, actually, unless Maples played in Montreal. But certainly it is PattyMac's first one, and while it is Maples as well, or maybe Maples as well, the flip side of that is Maples has been here for a week, so at least he's not fighting both first offline nerves and jet lag. He's just fighting first offline nerves. But we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get ready to move into our second game of this series. Surprisingly, the Canadian, he's up 1. And of course, in the upper right on Stargazers, what is probably the second prettiest map in the new map pool, he is, for Team Super, it's Maples.
And his opponent, also from Team Super, struggling a little bit in game number 1. He needs to refocus. It is Patrick Mackleton, also known as PattyMac. And this is a cannon rush timing probe. This is, I'm pretty sure right now he is. Yeah, we got him. So this is something that when you cannon rush a lot, you can demand a lot of respect out of your opponents. And we've already got enough. Well, it's just one probe. So PattyMac also knows that his opponent will sometimes do this fake cannon rush thing where he doesn't actually do anything. But look at this. He's going to go 1-gate Nexus.
Ooh.
PattyMac did not scout. So Maplez is going to be able to get away with something real nasty here. But will he get away with it? Will PattyMac let him get away with it? This is a no ramp natural, and it's a very wide opening at the natural as well. So that's going to be a little bit difficult to hold any kind of hyper aggressive move. But look at this. Great scout right here for Maplez.
That it is. And the interesting thing about this that we do have to talk about in the context of PvP maybe, as there we go, Robo going down, is the fact that Xel'Naga provides high ground vision of the interior bases. Now, it does not matter, I guess, in this specific setup because it's going to be proxy Robo that we're not going to see Blink for forever. But theoretically, if the game does go longer, the ability to blink into a spot, have your blink reset, and then run it into the main base is a really nice thing. So we're going to have to see. Probably is not going to matter just because of how this game is going, how PattyMac is looking to play. But it might. And it is just a cool little trick. It's rare that we have a Xel'Naga that does something. I mean, that's just a really weird feature of this map.
Yeah, it certainly is. And look at this Maplez. He started up a second gate, didn't get any second gateway unit, which is going to make defending extremely difficult. Even against just these two stalkers, he's going to have a tough time. He's only got one stalker out right now. Does get a very quick robo, which is very good. But losing out on this early stalker skirmish because he's only got the one stalker is a big problem. He needs to go back to the school of max packs to understand what you need to do, which is to really focus on early chrono boost of your gateway units if you're going to try and make a defense like this happen.
Exactly. So for now, he does have two stalkers out, and unfortunately, PattyMac is 4 now. And I don't know, Steadfast, if you can do math. I know it's early in the morning, but I'm pretty sure 4 is more than 2. And that means, of course, that these stalkers, they cannot fight all that well, even with the shield batteries. They're the stalkers PattyMac, they run forward. Ideally, they get the pylon. That's the really big goal, because then shield battery overcharge doesn't matter whatsoever. But we now have 3 gateways on the field. War Prism is now done. There's, of course, an observer as well, so PattyMac is well aware of where everything is. On the flip side, though, Maplez has an Immortal just about done, and that's a problem. But we talked about the backside base. Look at what PattyMac's doing. He's just coming in from a different angle. The probe's going to scout it, though, and that is... oh, man, that's so useful.
It is really useful because now it lets him know that he should have some units in position. Now, what he can do, because he's got this observer, unfortunately, he is going to lose it most likely as Maplez pops out his own observer. What PattyMac could do is what he wanted to do earlier, which is a force field on the ramp. And he should be looking to do that, but his rotation's a little bit late. And we are going to see the observer of Maplez actually spotting all of PattyMac's army, so... he's going to be able to see this move up into the main base. So far, PattyMac has not pulled the trigger. He's going to be going for a robotics bay behind this, but he hasn't gotten anything done. This has been a lot of like PattyMac hesitating when he's had really big advantages. He didn't push the issue when it was 4 stalkers to 2. He could have potentially drained the rest of that shield battery. He could have killed that pylon. He needed to get a lot done, and he didn't do it. And now we're seeing him kind of hesitating when he's got a big army supply advantage.
That he is now. You add on a couple of disruptors with no blink mortals there. It actually is a nice enough idea. But PattyMac has already started to realize that he kind of has this held, at least if things keep going as they are. So pylon or a gateway on pylon on the bottom side. I think this is really just going to be for adepts. Now we do need to point out, of course, that there's a pylon in the wall, so any sort of adepts he gets are going to be really hard to do much with. And look at this army split from Maplez as well. He's got the stalkers. Oh, he's going to get the Warp Prism. 1 shot. 2nd shot. He gets it. Oh. Yes, there are mortals in the main base now, but you have some of your own. They're trapped here, so PattyMac, he's going to try to force his way into the natural because he says, okay, I know the immortals are going to rotate over, but good force fields. Oh. He's going to get 3. Maplez is just playing on a different level than PattyMac this morning.
That was amazingly good force fields. Those were what I like to call reach fields, which is where it feels like the force fields go longer than they possibly could. And I thought at most he'd get one stalker. He picks off 3. That is so much of the power of this attack, just kind of getting ripped out of his hands. Now, disruptors are going to be a really big problem, but he has to rebuild the War Prism before he can start building a disruptor here. And we've got a War Prism. Oh, he's going to drop some adepts into the main base. Yep. Right. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He killed the 2 Immortals.
Yeah, he did. Steadfast, they were trapped there from the beginning. It was just Maples trying to buy some time so he could rotate over and deal with it. So now we're seeing Maples. He's up 12 workers, even before the War Prism drop that actually was deflected by Stalkers for the most part. He is equal in army supply. His army has much better complexity. The War Prism almost went down, is now adepts into the main base. Now there's a shield battery here, so you got to pair those up properly, but now Stalker's running forward, looking for value. Most importantly, though, looking for vision, trying to figure out where this army is. And now there's a disruptor on the field. Steadfast, if there ever was a comeback unit, it's the spinny glowy ball.
It is. You get those balls up and about, and you can cause some really big problems. Oh, that's a huge shot. Maples got his army all kind of tangled up right there. He just needed to walk directly away. Instead, he kind of walked into a pylon or got his pathing mixed up just a little bit, and that cost him dearly.
4 Stalkers, a bunch of other stuff all falling. Now, look at Steadfast. We're in the soup, and it does not lie. It's 49-29 here with these 2 with the 1 disruptor in the army right now. Second shot's going to go off, looking for an immortal, and at least takes the entirety of the shield off. But of course, the longer this does last, despite the fact of, force fields, actually, PattyMac does not want to take the fight yet, not with his disruptor on cooldown. In this game state, eventually Maples is going to be happy, but for right now, looking at a 20 army supply deficit, and the addition of a lot of adepts is actually a really cool idea. You just shade on top of things, but for now, running on forward. Second disruptor is here now. How good are the splits for Maples? Oh my goodness, he loses an immortal. This is getting hard.
It is certainly getting very difficult right here for Maples. Now, that disruptor shot was very, very fired from way too far away. Yeah, optimistic is a good way of putting it. Nice force field right there. Does catch one of the stalkers of his opponent. Things are getting more and more difficult for Maples as time progresses. He should have built a War Prism a while ago to try and lift up units. Oh, he does get one disruptor, but the other one gets a massive connection. Battery overcharge, not able to keep that one immortal alive. Nice force fields right there, locking out a couple of the stalkers. Blink is about to complete here, and a lot of this army for PattyMac doesn't fight all that effectively against Blink stalkers, but we're not done yet with that Blink. Ooh, Disruptor is still in some trouble. Blink, not yet done. Oh, but he kind of jukes himself there a little bit. Only kills 2 Stalkers, but it might still be enough here.
I don't know that it matters. I mean, yeah, sure, the Disruptor doesn't get anything, but now there are only 2 shield batteries to keep things alive. What is it? It's 6 Stalkers to 13, and that, yeah, sure, Blink is done now, but unfortunately, Steadfast, quantity over quality here. The Stalkers, they can just not kite. They're out of room. They cannot kite anymore. More Stalkers warp in PattyMac. This game looked disastrous for him. It looked so bad, but you add on some disruptors, and that is a PattyMac victory, folks. We're going to go to game 3. It's a knick-knack. Patty did whack.
I feel like, once again, the name of the game right there was kind of scrambling. A little bit messy, a little bit all over the place. If there's a War Prism ready to go defensively when that first disruptor shows up, I don't think there's any way that PattyMac gets the kind of shots that he did. Now, does he still win the game? Maybe. Maybe he can. Maybe he can win the game with, because forcing liftoffs can also be a valuable thing. But killing, that one disruptor had 14 kills on it. 14 kills. And these are not kills of, a drone or a Zergling or a Zealot. These are Stalkers. These are Sentries. At one point, he killed an Immortal. These are big, high-value pickoffs.
That they are. Man, you mentioned it, though. It feels like you kill both Immortals. You don't really take any damage. That should just be, GG no read. But you find the right units, and the preemptive idea there to get all those Adepts to deal with Probe Pulls and to deal with the eventual Zealots that PattyMac was going to make because he's spending his gas in, or that Maples was going to get in because he's spending gas in Blink and Robotech and whatever. That actually worked out really well for PattyMac. It meant that the last second ideas, any sort of force multiplier there, didn't really work out all that well, of maybe Zealots eating up a bunch of shots. So now we're going to find our way into game 3, and I did not expect to see a game 3, honestly, in this early in the tournament. I thought we'd just kind of have clean 2-0s. So that already has me pretty damn excited, Steadfast. I'm happy.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's you know, it is off the back of some kind of weirdness for sure, but it's nice to get these early on. It's nice to get these early on, so I'll take it for sure.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll take it, and even better, we're going to get into it, because game number 3 is on Inside and Out. And that's how I feel after seeing those first 2 games. In the upper right, he is the Canadian on Canada Day, folks. Put your hands together and bring some pancakes, because it's Maplez.
And his opponent spawning down in the bottom left for Team Super. Looking to rally once again, it is PattyMac. There's no way he goes Proxy Robo for a 3rd game in a row, is there? There's no way. He's already done it twice. That would be madness.
I mean, a rational man, a rational person would say absolutely not. Unfortunately, these are 2 North American Protoss players, so I fear, Steadfast, that any concepts of rationality, they do kind of go out with the bathwater.
Oh, they certainly do. They are, as one of my housemates loves to say, return to Monkey.
Exactly. And, well, it looks like, yeah, PattyMac's doing the same thing. Or at least he's proxying a pylon in this game number 3, and
I can't believe he's doing this again.
You know, it could be a Stargate. It could be proxy DTs in the middle of the map eventually. This is not guaranteed to be proxy Robo. I mean, it's highly likely considering how this game state's been, but it's not guaranteed, Steadfast. We have, you know, there is some sanity left in this world, and now there's not. There's none.
And it's gone.
All hail Cthulhu.
It's gone. Maple's going to go for a Stargate before Warpgate, by the way, which is going to be great against what his opponent is doing. This is pretty wild to me that it is Proxy Robo 3 games in a row. This time it gets scouted almost instantly. And, you know, the concept of putting it right in the way of your opponent, that can work once. It can work twice. It's not going to work 3 times in a row. Well, I mean, he will get bean boozled. Oh, probe. Oh, it escapes in the main base. It got surrounded for just a second, but it did squeak on out.
And Steadfast, do remember, by the way, that PattyMac got scouted game 2 and he did win. He did not get scouted game 1 and he lost. So, I mean, that's the calculus right there. But this time, Stalkers find their way across before the Stalkers of PattyMac are ready to go. Maples, you...
that was such a good move, and then it cost him a lot. Oh, boy. That's a big oopsie.
Yeah, oopsie poopsie. But,
yeah.
Well, even still, depowering that Robo really takes a lot of the wind out of the sails of PattyMac, and he's not even really committing to it. He's just got a Twilight and a Natural on the way, which is, I mean, that's one way to come out of it. He's just going to acknowledge that he is probably behind. But Maplez is also going to be slow in his expansion because he says, yes, my opponent is proxying me. I can't go expand just yet. So maybe an advantage there, but we're going to have to see what this Oracle can get done. Is there a shield battery in the main base? It looks like there is not. Stalkers, actually, they're looking to defend left side, but... Oh. Unfortunately. Maples, he was going right side, but now he's going left. He's going to run into these Stalkers. He's going to be forced on out. We should see a shield battery get dropped then. But Maples, he has his own brand of insanity ready for us in this game. As there's a pylon going down, he's going to probably... Yep. And there we go for stasis traps. He returned to monkey indeed.
Yeah, this is kind of wild. He's actually building a shield battery in his own mineral line as well. I wonder if he's expecting a follow-up of a Stargate, but it is way too early for there to be a Stargate after also having been a robotic facility that had finished. This is definitely some strangeness right here. we are going to be seeing that Oracle kind of getting deflected, and PattyMac, he's going to have a bit of a tough time holding this at the natural. There is no shield battery here. He's going to lose one of his Stalkers, but he will get one on the return. However, there is one extra Stalker right now for Maplez, and he's going to have more as he's on 3 gates to 2.
That he is. We got to remember, of course, Oracle now looking to fly in as well. This is still, you know, this setup where Blink is just about done for PattyMac. So, yeah, 3 gateways to 2, but Blink has a lot to say about that one. Oracle gets a little bit more value. And I don't know that Maplez is going to be able to punch on in, not when Blink done. Yeah, he gets a pylon, and PattyMac gets briefly supply blocked. The sentries are a really nice addition. PattyMac, though, does he see the stasis? It's a little shimmer there in the air. It's a little twinkle in his eye. In Maple's eyes. We're going to have to see if PattyMac is going to be aware of that one. But with Blink done, Steadfast, I don't think we have a big enough supply differential, and Maple's just going to try to wedge his way in. One Stalker gets sectioned off, but it doesn't even go down here. Yeah, without any sort of tech, I don't know that Maple's punches through it all.
No, this is a... This looks really, really bad right now for Maplez.
Well,
he did not see the stasis ward. Okay, he needs to go right now. He needs to go right now before those sentries get energy back, and he needs to get as much damage as he possibly can. Popping battery overcharge feels like a mistake to me.
That it does. So now we're going to see the Stalkers take in equal parts, killing workers and knocking down the static defense. Shield battery overcharge, of course, is done. 10 workers go down. Oh, no, it's a bit of a miss. Micro trying to find his way high ground that he cannot move. And now look at the concave. Yes, Maplez, you've killed a bunch of pros, but does not matter. There's no army anymore. And folks, PattyMac today, at least in Group D, the first qualifier into